Before we begin, a quick word about who we are. Inside Story Travel is a bespoke travel business I founded for North American travellers who want more than just a checklist of the UK. We build private itineraries and small group retreats rooted in landscape, story, and the people who steward both. You can find us at insidestorytravel.com, and if today's conversation moves something in you, our retreats are where these stories become a week of your life. If you enjoyed today's Transatlantic Teacast, please follow, subscribe, and leave us a review wherever you listen. It really does help. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Transatlantic Teacast. Today we have a treat, at least for us.
Wow.
Maybe not for the listeners, but Michael and I are on the same continent,
We're in the same room.
Country,
Look.
same room as each other. We're not on different sides of the globe. We've been here a few days. We've had a very nice few days checking out some places to stay and eat. So
He's
it's
almost
been a lot of fun.
outstayed her welcome, but not quite.
Yeah, I think he's getting a little bit fed up of us now. He's like, when are they going?
Is it like fish and house guests?
We're on day 4. It's time. It's time. Anyway, so today you have the delight of us both in person.
That guy behind the camera.
Yeah,
Wave.
tech guy's here. Hi, tech
Just
guy.
Just wave. There you went.
Today we are talking about something very close to my heart. It's something I don't think a lot of people have heard of yet. Everybody's heard of sustainable tourism, eco-tourism, regenerative
Carbon
offset
which
tourism.
Is also,
There's a lot of talk about B Corp and trying to achieve B Corp. But regenerative tourism for me is something that feels very achievable for all of us. And so I'll explain a little bit about what regenerative tourism is. It's kind of a buzzword, but it is an ancient and kind of beautiful concept in a way. It's a shift from simply doing no harm and maintaining the status quo to actually making things better. And across Britain, there is a movement and businesses that are transforming how they do business, with the idea of travel going from extractive to giving back when you travel.
So sort of doing some good
while you're there.
Yeah.
And it can be really little things.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be
leaving the place better before.
Yeah,
washing your eyes.
It's like about healing and renewal. So engaging rather than consuming. So think of a garden. If you're a sustainable garden, you keep the weeds down so the garden doesn't die. A regenerative gardener feeds the soil, encourages the bees, recognizes the importance of the bees, and ensures the garden is more vibrant and life-giving than they found it. So it's about nourishing the soil. And, it's a really kind of important thing, I think. There are a lot of over-touristed hubs around the world and in this country that really are feeling the strain, and others aren't necessarily getting a look in or not their fair share. So really, the 3 main areas of regenerative are restoring the ecosystems, economic circularity, so ensuring your pounds stay where you visit. So in the local village, local businesses. Yeah, you go to the local coffee shop.
Exactly, and just not going to a lot of people do go to an all-inclusive and just stay because it's the easy thing to do. You just go there, you stay there, and you just spend all your money there, and you pack up and you go home. But
exactly,
the fun thing to do is actually to go out, explore, and
meet people,
spread the love.
Exactly.
Spread the love and the money.
Exactly, it's all about spreading the love. I'm all for that. And finally. And I think this is something that is really different about regenerative, is engaging in the heritage of the place.
Yeah.
The kind of traditions, the crafts, the art, supporting the artisans. Even in Britain, we have so many ancient traditions, from bonfire night to I'm just trying to think of
Yeah.
some. Wassailing,
Wassailing.
where you
Just gonna
sing to the apples
Yeah.
to help them to grow and
Yeah.
frighten away the evil spirits.
Yeah.
Obviously, Samhain or Halloween.
Oh yeah. But that's more of an American thing, though, isn't it?
Well,
That's what-
Samhain isn't.
No.
Samhain's like an ancient Celtic tradition, particularly in Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah, where it's supposed to be like when it's the air, the space is thin between this world and the other world.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of those things
Yeah.
that even we don't know about, right?
No,
that
there's
need
obviously
to
like
come
May
back.
Day celebrations. You get a lot of sort of bank holiday traditions around the country, like some place, like little villages have like duck racing, and
Yeah.
there's a weird thing in the Cotswolds or in Gloucestershire where you have a shin kicking competition,
Lovely.
cheese rolling.
Cheese rolling,
I
the
mean,
classic.
that's the classic one that everybody's heard
Yeah.
of. But
There's also one in the up north where and I'm trying to remember what it's called. They have a football.
yeah,
Do you know where I mean?
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
throw it into the town.
yeah,
And there's two sides, and one has to get it to one side of the
it's got to
town.
get from one pub or the other or something like that.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's kind of,
And it's pretty brutal.
yeah. I
But-
saw some like BBC archive footage of it and like shot in the 70s. It went on all day. And
Right.
It looked pretty brutal. Yeah.
But, you know, these traditions kind of came through time.
yeah,
Also, the stories of our land, the folk tales, the myths, all of these things are really important to, keep alive. So how do we play our part?
let's get involved a little bit. I mean, I mentioned the duck racing.
Yes.
When we were in Norfolk last year, I think it was like a May Day holiday celebration.
Yeah.
Just stumbled across it in this little village.
Yeah.
Where they were there's like a little stone bridge across the river that went through the village. And so we just pulled over and you got involved. So we just got bet money on the ducks. It's like
Which
rubber
duck
ducks,
was gonna
by the way,
win.
not real ducks.
Yeah.
So you'll let them go, and then you picked a number, and if your number came in, and what have you, you won a prize, but then entered into the raffle and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that all goes back, and it was all raising money for, I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but it literally was the church roof.
Yeah.
It's village hall roof.
Don't they have snail racing? and
Snail
things like that?
racing, yeah, there's loads, especially
All
around
sorts
May
of-
Day, actually. There's a lot of
Yeah.
these sort of like little traditions that are coming in, or were around, and then have just been,
We also have,
reinvented.
and I think it's around Christmas, sort of mummers,
Yes, we have that in
the
where we are
Cotswolds,
today, Dursley.
which is a little scary, I think.
It is
or can
odd,
be. It
yeah.
is strange.
It's kind of
Do you
like
want
a
to
little
describe
bit-
what they look like?
It's kind of like a cross between sort of Punch and Judy and sort of storytelling and
Punch and Judy is a
Oh, yeah.
children's puppet show for anyone who's not sure what that is.
it's all
Yeah.
about domestic abuse and
It's terrible, really. It's
Yeah.
terrible.
When
He's
you
always
actually- when you
bashing
actually-
Judy.
when you actually analyse the story,
It's not good.
It's not great, but
No.
as kids, just sit down and watch that.
Yeah.
But with the puppetry and all of that kind of stuff, so the mummers, it's kind of like a sort of ancient story that they kind of tell, and they go around to local pubs and
Yeah.
repeat it in the different pubs.
And then there's one, I think he's called the Burr Man, somewhere in East Lothian or Fife in Scotland. You know those burrs that you get
Yep.
in the fields? They're
Yep.
quite big.
Yep.
And he wears a suit, like a Velcro suit, from top to toe with just his eyes and a bit for his nose. And they stick these burrs
Right.
all over him,
Okay.
like literally from top to toe. And he walks about.
I can feel my eyes itching.
The thought of it is awful, and it's
Yeah.
a real torture wearing this
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But I think he walks about 5 miles through all the villages, and
Right.
everybody greets him, and it's like this, and it's a real honour being the Burr Man.
I think it's just attention seeking.
Let's not analyse the psychology of that one, but I think it's again been going on
Yeah.
for a long, long time. So the first rule is, if you're
What's a cup
thinking,
of tea, by the way?
I-
You crack on.
okay, you pour a cup of
Yeah.
tea then while
You don't have milk, do you?
no milk for me.
She's dairy intolerant, but you should have seen the amount of clotted cream she had yesterday.
I make an exception for clotted cream.
I've done milk in first.
Michael, dearie me,
Christ.
dearie me. I filled it rather full. I figured
Yeah.
there's two of us today. We
That's
need a
true.
full
Well,
pot.
true. And
Yeah.
at least we won't run out.
So the first rule is, if you're building an itinerary, try and stay longer in a smaller amount of places rather than
Yes.
zooming around,
Yeah.
ticking the
Just think,
list.
you know, Britain is a small place, but
Yeah,
it's very diversified. And you think you know, you've got to come here and we've got 2 weeks and we've got to go around and see as much as we possibly can. But even though we're a small island,
yeah,
it's, you know, an hour down the road, 2 hours down the road, it can be a very, very different place.
yeah.
So it is worth just staying in the same place and really sort of getting in, you know,
Immersing.
learning about, you know, the traditions and the food and, you know, and the landscape changes quite a lot as well. So
Yeah.
don't race around.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, really just
Stay
enjoy
and
somewhere.
soak it in.
Exactly. And meet
Yeah.
the people. We're
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. Well, some of us.
Some of us.
Yeah.
Keep it local. If you're looking for a meal, find the pub that either has 0 mile dining or local sourcing. You know, you want to make sure that you know where your food's coming from. And generally they're the better places to eat anyway.
Yeah, and it's always,
You know?
always try and find the local independent places rather than the big chains.
Yeah.
And you're always going to have a better time. And you know, that means that, you know, your dollar, your buck, your
Yes.
pound,
Yeah.
is going to stay in the local economy and boost the local economy.
And you can feel good about that.
Exactly.
Choose wisely where you stay. There's lots of options now for farm stays, some amazing hotels, pubs. We'll go through a few of them at the end of the podcast, but you know, you can really stay in some great regenerative focused places. And also, while you're there, you know, a physical act of giving back. It could be a beach cleanup, or maybe just while you're on the beach picking up some litter.
Yeah.
It could be offsetting your travel by planting some trees, maybe. Or if you don't want to do it physically, I think it's called Trees for Life. Every time I go away, you can go on there and they plant a tree for you.
Yep.
You can pay them to plant a tree. So there's lots of
also,
options.
lots of local volunteer groups that you can kind of really welcome, you know, people to just spend, and it doesn't have to be, you know, day. You can just spend a couple of hours.
And we'll go through some options. Actually, I've just focused on the Cotswolds for this, but we can give you some examples.
But yeah, exactly. Wherever you go, there will be some local kind of like conservation groups.
Yeah. And a great way, again, to meet some people, have some fun. So right now, earlier this week, I was without Michael. I was flying solo. But
suppose you're allowed.
I went off to the Newt in Somerset, which is...
Yeah, go to the poshest place without me. That's fine.
I know. You know, it just had to be done on my own.
Yeah.
And
Tech guy was there, wasn't he?
Tech guy was with me. Yeah. But we explored for the day. We had some lunch, and I met Arthur Cole, the head of programming, who really took us through a tour of everything that they are about, everything that they are doing regeneratively. So here is our interview. So today we are very excitingly meeting or visiting one of the pioneers of the regenerative movement in the UK, the Newt in Somerset. And I am here with Arthur Cole, who is the head of programming at the Newt. And we are here to talk all things Newt, but also specifically regenerative farming and lifestyle, everything that the Newt has embraced. Thank you for inviting us, Arthur. It's great to be here.
Welcome, Lucy. Good to have you on site in the heart of it.
And actually, just quickly, we're in the Byzantium here. So do you want to tell us a little bit about the Byzantium?
So the Byzantium is one of our 3 museums. As your viewers can see, it is, there are some real beehives behind us, but made so that they can be viewed by the public coming in. But there's no interaction between the bees and the humans, so we're not going to disturb the bees when they move in, and we won't get stung by them if they so wish to. But this is really one of the ways that we communicate with our guests and tell what we think is a really important story, and that is of bees, of course, but also pollinators in general.
Okay, and we could talk a little bit about that later. How long have you been here, Arthur? What was your journey to the Newt?
I've been here 7 years now, and over that time, I've seen us form from a concept, an idea, and to something now that is multifaceted. It has grown into areas that we could only have dreamed about 7 years ago. We started off as just a garden with one restaurant and a farm shop and a house and garden shop. And we then, within a few months, opened up our first hotel, Hudspin House. And then we opened up our first museum, not this one, another one, which is a subterranean museum space, which talks about the story of gardening from ancient Roman times, ancient Persian times, all the way up to now. And then we opened up this museum. We opened up our other hotel on site. So now, 7 years on, we're 2 hotels, we're 3 shops, we're 3 museums, we're 4 restaurants, we're an e-commerce business. And what underpins all of that is our tie to the land. We are horticulture and we are agriculture. And from the horticulture and agriculture, the rest of those businesses blossom.
Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. There's a very lovely story, I think, about why the Newt is called the Newt.
Yeah.
If you want to share a little bit about that.
Well, there's 2 reasons, really. One is that the Newt and its emblem, our logo, serves as a reminder to us as the team. There's just under 600 of us working here. It serves as a reminder to us of the sensitivity of the natural world to human meddling and interaction. Newts and all amphibians really are on that front line of, if you mess with the water, you mess with the air, you mess with the soil, they feel it most keenly because of their porous skins. So this is the case from Madagascar and Borneo all the way to Somerset. So really it serves as a reminder every day that we're stewards on here. We're to tread lightly, and we are to do our best in order to enhance the habitat and to increase the number of these wonderful creatures around us. That's that side of it. The other side of it is that in Britain, the great crested newt is an indicator species. So the ecologists will see great crested newts, and if the great crested newts are doing well, it means that all the other organisms on either side are doing well. The microorganisms that create the conditions for the newt to be able to survive and thrive are there. And also, if great crested newts are there, it probably means that the predators of great crested newts are there too.
Right.
So we're looking at abundance and a healthy ecosystem on either side. Britain, when you're doing any development, the conservationists and the ecologists will look for these indicator species, and if they find them on the site that you're going to develop, you need to come up with measures in order to protect this indicator species. And they can hold up diggers and JCBs for over a year, which is precisely what happened here. And rather than, our founders are from South Africa, and the planners came across this and told them, thinking, oh, they're going to be so disappointed. On the contrary, our founders thought this is so marvelously eccentric and British that a newt could hold up a digger that they named the whole enterprise in honor of this little amphibian.
I love that positive outlook. That's wonderful, because there's not many, I don't think there's many developers that would take that kind of stance. So that's great. Well, you've talked a little bit about how you take your role as guardian of the land seriously, but let's get into specifics about the soil, the land. What sort of practices do you have to make sure that the land not only stays healthy, but gets better?
And that's a big part about what regenerative is.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily keeping a status quo. It's actually creating something that's better after you. So there's lots of ways we do this, but I'll pick one in isolation just as an example. So when we got here, 7 years ago, we're chopping things down around the estate. It'll be prunings from apple trees. It'll be the weeding, all of this vegetative material coming out of the gardens, which was coming out in quite a large amount. If anyone's done any pruning at the end of the year, knows just how much comes out of herbaceous borders.
Yep.
And we put, this would go off to a company that would pay to take it away, and then they would compost it and sell us back the compost. And we thought, come on, let's close this loop. So what we've done is we've built a remarkable state-of-the-art composting pad, which takes all of the waste from the gardens. And now, I'm so proud about this, it takes the vegetable waste from all of the kitchens as well.
Wonderful.
So and all of the coffee grounds and all of this sort of stuff. So all of this is coming in. And not only is it nice to have somewhere that, we're reducing the amount of waste or able to sort of handle that waste, not only is it just being taken out of the waste stream, what's happening is it's being turned into black gold.
Yeah.
We're turning that waste into something that I believe is the true capital of this estate, which is the compost, that black gold, that healthy soil. And really, to put the cherry on the cake, the guy who's in charge of the composting project, his name's Pete. So
you couldn't make that up, could you?
And I don't know what it's like in America, but over in Britain, peat, the extraction of peat from Ireland and areas on the West Coast, which was a very good staple horticultural growing medium, the effect on the environment by extracting this peat has been shown to be very disastrous, very destructive. So now it's all about finding peat-free alternatives. I love the fact that we've got peat-free doing our compost.
That is a good story. So let's go back to the bees and their role here on this. So we've talked about the Byzantium and how visitors can come and learn about the bees and their life cycle and how that works. But what role do they play on the estate?
So the bees are a key component to a healthy ecosystem. From the wild plants and all of the diversity of herbaceous plants, annuals, perennials, shrubs, trees, you name it. The bees are some of the hardest working ecosystem agents, let's put it that way. Part of our business is that we have these beautiful gardens, over 120 acres of them, and our clients come from around the world to see these gardens at different times of the year. Without the bees, without the pollinators, we have no gardens. But we also have a farm, and on that farm, we're specializing in old heritage varieties of cider apples. And so for the American audience, we make cider, but we make hard cider here. And we've got 3,000... As in alcoholic.
Yeah.
We got 3,000 cider apple trees, 70 different varieties of all heritage variety, all Somerset varieties, old varieties. And they blossom at different times over a sort of 4-week period. By having this forage there, we're giving more forage for the bees, but without the bees, we don't have the apples. So it's definitely let's call it a symbiosis going on between a healthy farm, a healthy orchard, a healthy garden, a healthy estate, and those hard workers, the bees.
Love that. I listened to your podcast recently,
and
it was your head gardener was talking, and it was in one of your hydroponic tunnels.
Yeah.
And this isn't the technical term. I can't remember what he said it was, but they tickle the flowers to release the pollen.
That's right.
And then they send the bees in.
That's right. Yeah.
To pollinate. And I think that's a lovely idea. Going in and tickling the flowers, and they release the pollen, and then the bees can go and be ultra effective.
Yeah.
In a short space of time.
Yes, that was our
Yeah.
head of productive growing.
Yeah.
And he was talking there about the beginning of the season, because
Yeah.
we have a hydroponics house, which means that we want to extend the tomato season for ourselves. And so usually a tomato season is August, September. We managed to get it essentially from end of February right the way through to December.
Mm.
At the beginning of February, when the first trusses, the first flowers are formed, there are no bees that we can enter into that. So what we need to do is, for the first ones, go around with a specialized tool, tickling the flowers. The gardeners, the team that's in there looking after that, Lexi, who looks after that, is so delighted when the first box of British bred bumblebees comes in,
that.
because they then do that painstaking, detailed work, and it frees her up to look after the plants.
Yeah.
So yes, and the bees, then we give them a perfect environment of no predators. Also, it means that those tomatoes, there are no pesticides used on the tomatoes. There are biological controls used for keeping pests in order. We couldn't use any pesticides because it would kill the bees.
Yeah.
So they get forage, they get a safe environment in which not to have predators, and they live out their full life cycle in there, bumbling around like very happy bees.
So it's a perfect environment for them.
But it does require, it was what we call a controlled environment agriculture setup. So it's a CEA, and it doesn't exist without humans.
Perfect. I love it. The other thing that when I stayed here a couple of years ago, I had a tour of the farm. And I don't think I have seen such happy cows and sheep before. One of them had a back scratching machine, and it just looked, wonderful how animals should be kept. But what did you have in place in terms of your animal husbandry to make sure they're happy and healthy, right through to, butchering the animals and, doing that humanely and in a gentle way, if possible? Yeah.
So I imagine you probably would have met a herd of what are called British white, an old heritage rare breed marked by overall white bodies with black ears, black eyes, black noses, and black socks.
And long eyelashes.
And very long eyelashes. Yeah. Very beautiful cows. Yeah. We have about approximately 10% of the world population of them, and we have about 350. So that shows you just how few of them there are across the world. There are some in the United States. We have the largest single herd, and they're not commercially sort of desirable, because they don't put on weight at the same rate as other modern conventional beef cattle do. But we think that it's worth us taking that commercial hit by breeding these and championing this breed, because they are great mothers. And we have a suckler herd here, so we don't take the babies away from the mothers. We let the calves grow up in the herd, and we've got about 8 to 9 different herds at any one time. We believe that this essentially mimicking how the herd dynamics would work with sort of an ancient breed, that we're getting them closer to where they want to be. And we've seen their welfare it speaks for itself. The cattle, I don't know how you really measure a happy herd, but you can certainly see it and feel it. The anxiety amongst the herd seems to be very low. The cohesiveness of the animals within the herd seems to be very tight. And also, not to put too fine a point on it, but it tastes great. And this is because there's no adrenaline left in the meat, which is often in factory farming and with high levels of processing cattle through almost a conveyor belt through an abattoir. The animals are not stupid. This whole thing about dumb bovines doesn't wash. There's an intelligence there, and they can smell the death and the fear. That means by the time they come to being killed, that there is adrenaline in their flesh, and you can taste it in so much of this factory farm, this distress. You don't get any of that here. And that's because after all of that period of looking after these cattle, eventually when they go to the abattoir, we have an abattoir that we've gone into, we really trust. They do in very small groups, and the animal doesn't know what's coming. And so it's the quickest and least sort of stressful period. Least stressful way of killing the animals. And it means that when that carcass comes back to us, we've got a state-of-the-art butchery here. We do all of our own butchery as well. Our butchers, we've got one of the best butchers in Britain, if not the world. His name's Andrew Sharp. Great nominative determinism again for a butcher, named Sharp. And the way that he and the other senior butchers train the younger butchers coming through about the cuts that may not be as so sort of, let's say, popular these days, but really great if you know how to cook them. This is what it's all about.
Yeah.
So respect from birth to butchery.
Yeah.
Along the lines,
because
the herdsmen love these animals.
Yeah.
Of course they do. And they know why it's farming. They know they're breeding them for food.
Yeah.
But as a herdsman who gets to be close with these animals, they
feel the love.
And love them. Absolutely.
Yeah. And talking of feeling the love, I have to say one of my lasting impressions was how happy the staff were and how long people had been here. Because in this industry, there's often quite a turnover.
Yeah.
But it seemed to me that the Newt really looks after their staff, and I think that really shows. And that's also part of being of the community and giving back to the community. Is there anything in particular you could tell us about that?
Well, I'm glad you talk about this, Lucy, because we spoke about this before we filmed, and actually that regenerative way of running a business isn't just about the soil or the plants or the animals. It's about the staff as well. We are in a very privileged position here. We are not just a hotel or a restaurant. We are so much more than that. And the reason that we have what I believe is a good recruitment and a good retention is because there are many different disciplines at work under the same umbrella here. This means that we attract curious people, and it could be somebody from either the CEO to somebody doing evening turn downs to somebody who's working in the butchery to one of the tree team up a tree to one of the bee team in the Byzantium interpreting this space for guests. That curiosity is cultivated, encouraged, and bred. So what you have here is a business that retains people, not just because we hopefully produce a good welfare and people take a salary from it. It's because there's always something interesting going on here. What are we up to next?
I was talking before we started to the lady who runs the Byzantium, and she was saying her life is bees.
Yes, that's Imi.
And Imi said her life is absolutely bees. And I love that too, the passion behind it.
And specialists in those places and that cultivation of those specialists. Yeah. I mean, how many people who are into bees who come and work for, a lot of people would assume that the Newt is just a luxurious hotel. How many luxurious hotels have a Byzantium, have a bee museum, and how many people who have a passion for bees get to work in a place like this?
Right. Well, also quite unusual is the fact you have a honey sommelier.
Right.
As in wine sommelier, but for honey.
Yeah.
So can you tell me what the role is and how they fit into daily life? I
mean, there is quite a strict examination process that goes on with the sommelier to becoming a honey sommelier. If you think about why wines are so diverse, it's because of the different topography, terroir, the different climates, and different, traditions that go into that. If you think about bees and honey, it's so much more than what's available with wine. Mm-hmm. Think about the different plants that they forage, the different climates that they live in. If you want to go into sort of the diversity of terroir, honey's got even more going on with it, right?
Absolutely.
Yet we don't think about it like that. So here you can come as a as a hotel guest, and we have honey tastings led by our honey sommelier, by Kerry, and you go and you taste the honeys, you see the differences between them, and hopefully it's an enlightening experience that makes you look at honey in a different way. And it's not just about the indulgent taste and that experience. There's an educational piece here, which is, how much do we know about honey? How much honey that is sold as honey is honey? Because there's the great honey scandal of that honey that is sold as honey, and £4, £3, £4, a few dollars a pot. How much of that's actually honey? How much of it is sugar syrup that is made to is marketed as honey? So there's the education that comes in whilst you're doing the honey piece, and hopefully you walk away and you know a lot more about honey.
And it takes on the taste of the land, the flowers that they were surrounded by, or the
seasonality,
terrain and
Absolutely,
the seasonality.
Yeah.
So I think that sounds like a wonderful thing to do. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the orchards, we're in Somerset. Somerset, for anyone who's not aware, is famous for its apples and its cider. And you have, I think, 2 different orchards. Is that right? You have an award-winning orchard, which is, now I'm going to get is it Esplanade? Esplanade? Esplanade?
Yes, so Espalier.
Espalier.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So we have, that's right. We got a productive orchard that is our cider orchards. That is 3,000 cider apple trees planted as, for anyone who knows growing trees. It is they're made up of standard trees, so sort of like tall lollipops. This makes it difficult to harvest them, because not like modern bush orchards, but it allows you to grow meadow grasses between the rows of trees, which allows for a habitat for natural predators to eat the would-be pests that would come and eat your trees. So that's a way of growing our cider orchards regeneratively. The other orchard is very much it's a maze. 330 thereabouts different cultivated varieties, and they are all arranged by their counties of origin in Britain. So as you walk through the maze, you come across the apple trees that originated in those different counties. So you can walk through the British Isles, and it even has the nations of Britain as well, the kingdoms. So there's Ireland, Scotland, and Wales represented there as well. And so you can walk through Britain in this maze laid out, and the design is a Baroque style, because that's the first time gardening happened here was in 1690. So we've set the date for this apple maze of 1690 in terms of its hard landscaping and hedging. And come blossom season, which is going to be soon, actually, we're looking at the end of April, beginning of May, you get to see the differences in blossom, and the subtle nuances between the blushes and the sizes of those petals. And then come September, October, you're into all the different varieties of apples. And we encourage the kids of our members to run through and to pick an apple, to taste a real apple that hasn't been covered in a preservative wax or some, sort of dreadful pesticide, to taste what real apples taste like, the difference in the texture of the skins and the flesh, and hopefully give our next generation a deeper appreciation of what we're at risk of losing if we keep down this route of what we now call conventional farming.
And the diversity of varieties, the different tastes, because an apple isn't just an apple. There are so many different tastes to an apple.
Yeah.
Which is, when you go to the supermarket, you don't realise that, really. You've got 3 or 4 types and that's it.
Yeah, and they tend to give you a little bit of a sore tummy sometimes, and that's because they use, and quite understandably, we've at the end of the war, there was a worry of, at the end of the Second World War, there was a worry of us not having food security. So we built in these measures in order to build up that food security. But one of the sad side effects of that is that some of the chemicals that are used in order to prevent the apples from drying out or going sort of pulpy and keeping them crisp and juicy for months afterwards.
Mm.
If you don't remove that from the skins, it can give you digestive irritation. And I think a lot of people notice that. So, of course, organic growers are nailing it and you don't have that. And the thing about organic growing is you're taught to eat more seasonally. So within the seasons, rather than expecting strawberries in, December, get them in the summer.
Yeah.
And learn to grow food and eat food within the seasons. It ties you closer to the land, but it also, I think, is probably better for your gut.
And maybe they're inspired to go home and grow an apple tree
With
or
any
try
luck.
their own, little orchard. I also noticed that the standard trees are not like in rows and the bush form that you often see at orchards. They've got like sheep grazing, underneath. I'm sure the sheep eat the apples, maybe, do they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have a chew on them, but so does so much else.
Mm.
So microorganisms, right the way through, things that you wouldn't be able to see in the soil, they're so small, are feeding off that. The mycorrhiza, the fungal colonies that are binding together the different types of grasses and weeds that are growing in those orchards are creating their own fungal network underneath the ground, which is in turn ultimately creating a healthier soil. So there's so much going on in that soil, and by this is not standing back and letting nature just get on with it. This is farming, but it's a different type of farming.
Yeah.
It's not just an intensive, let's see how much we can squeeze out of it. This is let's get a product out of this, get produce out of this, but let's get this produce out of this for years to come, decades, centuries to come. And the only way to do that is to look at the health of that soil and to encourage it.
Great. Is there a species of flora or fauna that is special to this land particular to this area that you have here, or?
Yeah, I hope the other ones that I don't mention aren't listening.
Yeah, because there are a few, I'm sure.
But absolutely, we're rich in that diversity, but come on, we're at the newt, so let's talk about the newts.
Yeah.
We have 3 native species of newt in Britain, and all 3 are found on the estate. There's smooth newt, palmate newt, and then the glamorous great crested newt. And whilst we're recording this, it's breeding season for the newts.
Right.
And that's when you see these amazing crests on the backs of these great crested newts doing their thing. And if we find the newts, we know that the trophic cascade on either side, essentially the biodiversity and the richness of species density is going to be high.
Yeah.
So it's a delight to see the newts, not just because they're great newts, but because of what they mean about what they mean for the land. Absolutely.
That's wonderful. So I've been traveling around, and there is a movement both in terms of regeneration and generally for zero mal dining or local reduced mal dining. Is that something that you are able to do here or are aiming to achieve?
I think having an ambition to do it is really good. Achieving that ambition is even better. We have a market garden here, which we grow things that we can't get from other local producers en masse. So we tend not to grow potatoes because we've got some good potato growers around. We tend not to grow sort of staples that other local producers are able to produce en masse. We go for the curious cultivars. We go for things that are going to give a seasonal accent to everything else that's coming out onto your plate.
Mm-hmm.
The ambition, of course, is to be able to provide everything from the estate. But that's a very difficult thing to do if you want to have the diversity on that plate. So this is now about a conversation with our suppliers to see whether or not their ethics of how they grow, how they operate their business, if they align with ours. If they do, fantastic. We're with you.
Yeah.
And so I don't think... I think people shouldn't feel too restrained by only producing things on the estate. Otherwise, your clients will have to eat turnip for about 4 months of the year.
Turnip and swede. Or rutabagas, as we call them in America.
Right.
But, so the other thing I loved when I visited was the opportunity to try some ancient crafts sometimes, like stonewalling or willow basket weaving. And that is also very much a regenerative approach in terms of keeping these crafts alive. What else do you offer as part of that? It seems to work with the calendar and what's happening in the seasons. Yeah.
So what you're talking about there is the workshops that make up part of our annual program. And for anything, for a workshop or a tour or an experience to come into that annual program that our guests and our members can have, it needs to fulfill 3 criteria. It needs to be entertaining, it needs to be educational, and it needs to be an experience. It needs to hit all 3 E. I call it the Holy Trinity of the program. So yes, dry stone walling is relevant to us here. Because all you need to do is walk around this land and see the ancient dry stone walls that were built hundreds of years ago. Yes, willow weaving is relevant to us because not far from us is Glastonbury, and we have the levels, and that's where willow grows really well. And willow used to be the original plastic. It was used in the same way that we use plastic for, it's almost sort of not quite single use, because you could use it a bit more than that, but it was certainly a sort of just an all-rounder for all sorts of things, carrying things, holding things together, binding things. The other things that we do is, well, look at our pillars here. We've out of the pillars that make up our business, horticulture, the hospitality, the food, the agriculture. We have our workshops based around that. So you can come here, you can learn not just how to do floristry, but how to grow your own, how to turn a patch of your garden over to growing seasonal flowers, which you will then get a whole year's worth of flowers out of for adorning the house. Wow. So it's going that extra mile. It's not just having a floristry course with flowers brought in from around the world that have come through Holland and turn up, refrigerated and covered in pesticide. What we're showing you is have floristry. It's lovely, but learn how to do it yourself as well, to grow
your own
flowers.
Cutting garden.
Exactly. So.
That's wonderful. So, kind of an extension of that, or experiences, are the traditional rituals of the area. You have a fire night in, is it October you have
it's in November.
Or November. Yeah. So it kind of coincides with...
Very close to the 5th of November.
The 5th of, Guy Fawkes Night.
So Guy Fawkes Night. Exactly.
And the other thing is wassailing.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about wassailing?
Yeah, delighted to. Wassailing is an ancient tradition. A lot of Britain observes it, but it's particularly observed here in the West Country because we have high rainfall, we grow orchards, and we've got a lot of cider going on. The idea of wassailing stems back to ultimately securing a good harvest. And why you do this in the winter is that in the winter it was said that malignant spirits could have taken up place in the apple trees, in the boughs of the orchards, and lingered there for too long. So what you want to do is you want to flush those evil spirits out, those malignant spirits out, and you do that by firing off a cannon if you've got one, banging pots and pans,
making a lot of noise,
a great big hullabaloo, and then once you've scared off those malignant spirits, to prevent them from returning, you want someone to sit there in their place. You want the beneficial, the good spirits to come in. So to entice them in, we sing carols to the tree and we bless the apple tree. We pour cider around the roots and we put cider-soaked toast in the boughs of the tree. And by doing so, that means that the good spirits come in and, hey, we've been getting some pretty good harvest, so it must be working.
So
right?
Who says that it doesn't work, right?
Exactly.
So an element of paganism, pagan ritual and tradition there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe even stems before the pagans. You know, we are part of, we're the West Country, and we've had lots of influences and influxes come in over the millennia. You know, there's the tribes of Britain that were here before the Romans, and then what the Romans brought, and then Saxons and Angles. I mean, you know, Britain is this amazing sponge which takes in culture from around the world and gives it a peculiarly sort of British edge to it, and out it goes again. It's almost like a lung, Britain. It breathes in culture and it breathes it out. That's why it's always evolving and always changing.
And as you were saying, you kind of make it your own nowadays. You can add your own modern element to those rituals. Well, final question. Somerset is said to have a magical energy about it, with Glastonbury nearby and the ley lines, Michael and Mary, I think it is, that are said to intersect at that point. So that's like supposedly an area of higher energy or vibration, and as traditionally a very spiritual place. Just one last question. What to you is the most magical thing about this land that the Newt is on?
It's a really good question. And I think nothing stands by itself. Everything is connected. And I believe it's that connectivity that is the magic.
Yeah.
That's the binding force. That's the empowering force. It can't be one thing. It is everything. And I think the Newt really sort of emulates that in the way that our business is set up. It's not one department. It's not one thing that we shout about. It's the interconnectedness of the Newt that is its magic. And that's why it can only be in Somerset.
Right. And the fact that you share the magic with hotel visitors, but also visitors to the gardens. So you don't have to be staying here to experience the magic of the Newt.
No, absolutely not. And I mean, you know, I hope that our mission, our story gets told in across continents. I mean, here we are with you,
right?
Lucy, telling this across continents.
Yeah.
And I personally am invested in this business. I want to see it grow and be a place where my children can come and lead this business, and their children.
Yeah.
That's what means that we're working towards. We are a company, but we're working towards almost like an institution. We're not creating something for the next 3 years, not creating for the next 30 years. We're creating for the next 300 years.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you so much, Arthur. It was just wonderful to hear everything about the Newt and what you're doing regeneratively and more. All I can say is it's an absolutely remarkable place. And if you're coming to Britain, this is a must stop on your tour, whether to stay or just to visit the gardens and have some lunch. So come to the Newt. It's definitely worth a visit. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucy.
Welcome back. Michael and I have a cup of tea while you're listening to the interview. I hope you enjoyed that. The Newt is such a special place, and it was really, really fun to meet Arthur. So I'm glad we got to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I did go there. I didn't totally miss out because I did go there a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Off the back of your recommendation when you were over here a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I took my wife there for her birthday for lunch.
Many brownie points, yeah.
So yeah, it's such a cool place.
Very.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stay. You can go and visit the garden.
Yeah, there was a lot of people there when we were there. Obviously, we went for lunch. We went for lunch first, and then afterwards we went to go and look around the garden. And as we sort of went outside, I mean, when I say garden, it's an estate.
Yes.
So it's I mean,
thousands of acres.
Yeah, it's
I
literally
think.
Thousands of acres.
Yeah.
But yeah, some what do you call it? Modelled gardens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do they call that? Well, one's like a 16th century.
Yeah. There's different zones, isn't there? There's kind of different gardens.
Manicured garden.
That's the word I was looking for.
Is that the one you were looking for?
Yeah.
But then they have like different zones. So
Yeah.
they have like the kitchen garden,
Yes.
the manicured garden, the heritage orchard garden.
That's right. You were in the Byzantium.
In the
you?
Byzantium,
I don't think I saw that when I was there.
It's a little bit off to the side because they don't want the bees in the middle of the, because obviously they have guests as well. So, and they have a honey house as well where they keep all the honey.
But I said when we were there, when we went and looked around the grains.
The grains.
Yes. Afterwards. There was a lot of people there just for the day. And there was obviously a cafe there, so you can just
Beautiful cafe.
Yeah, go for just a cup of tea.
Have a gift shop.
Yeah.
They also have a cider press, which is great to watch.
Okay. Proper traditional kind of one.
Proper traditional.
Okay.
They have an old-fashioned one, and then they have a new modern one where they do, big quantities. But they also have, which we didn't mention in the interview, they have like a Roman villa, which they've recreated.
Yeah.
You can go in and see it as was. Okay. And they also serve food there that would have been like the Romans.
Right.
Ate it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. So anyway, that's the Newt. So thinking about other fun places to stay in all budgets, we have a few here that are really kind of changing the way that we look at tourism and staying in places. The Knepp Estate.
It's literally on my bucket list. It's just an incredible place, and I'm desperate to go there. You can go and stay there. So, I've read her book, Isabella Tree. And
I've read her book too.
Yeah, I'd heartily recommend it. Just the journey that they've been on and the transformation that they've made to the British landscape.
So the story was broadly.
So her husband Charlie, can't remember his surname, but anyway, Charlie. So he inherited the estate from his family, and it was a traditional farming estate, but on marginal land, which is very difficult to farm. They were just, the only way to make money is to literally just go through this cycle of fertilizing the land, harvesting, fertilizing, and it's basically just killing the soil.
Yeah.
And killing the wildlife.
Yeah. They just noticed there were no insects anymore.
There were no insects. There was no
birds.
The soil was literally dying. It was just turning into dirt rather than soil. There's no life left in it. So they were having to force nutrients back into the soil in order to to get a meaningful harvest every year. They thought this just isn't sustainable. So they obviously researched. There was a place they went to in Holland, which can't remember the name, but I wouldn't be able to pronounce it anyway.
Yeah, probably good. Can't remember.
Where they did this rewilding project. They went over and looked at what was being done over there, and then brought it back. Those ideas back to the UK. And over the last sort of 2 or 3 decades, they've kind of rewilded their estate. So basically, it just means taking down all the fences and gates and everything, and just no longer growing arable crops. But just letting the land sort of go back to its natural state and letting, herbivores just roam free. So, they've got, I think it's English longhorn cattle there. They've got Tamworth pigs.
So ancient.
So they've tried to sort of replicate, what, herbivores and grazing animals would be there sort of, before industrial farming came along. And the way that the animals naturally graze and move around kind of, regenerates the soil, and creates these little habitats. And they saw that, they thought this was going to be like a 20-year project, but they saw within literally a couple of years how much wildlife, insects were coming back, how much soil was being regenerated.
Wild birds.
And, they were getting turtle doves, which is kind of like, that's in the 12 Days of Christmas song,
Yeah.
So that,
we don't see those.
And they're virtually extinct. But they were just creating these habitats, and they were coming back. Nightingales,
didn't they just
purple emperor butterflies?
Now I might be wrong on this. I think they just reintroduced beavers.
It was a huge uphill battle.
Yeah.
To introduce a species that was made extinct through hunting and, well, I guess, persecution or what have you, or hunting for their pelts.
Yeah.
And it's just been reintroduced, but you have to have a license. You can't just reintroduce beavers into the country. So they finally got a license, and they are like what you call a keystone species. So once you've got a beaver, then they create this habitat that then brings back, they create these ponds, which brings back insects, which brings back birds, which brings back, birds of prey, and literally they're just all of these things start to.
It's a domino
effect of regeneration. And it is, I'd urge you read her books, Isabella Tree Wilding, and there's also a documentary on Prime at the moment called I think it's called Wild or Wilding, I can't remember. Maybe we'll double check it and put it on our notes at the end.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Watch that. I mean, that's a little potted history of what they've done. It's a really good documentary.
Yeah.
But obviously you can buy meat from there now. You can stay there. So they've got like bell tents, yurts, cabins, all sorts of places where you can stay. And it's just somewhere I'm desperate to go. And you can go on these like wildlife safaris. They'll take you out at dawn to hear the dawn chorus.
It's real immersion in nature.
Yeah, it looks, and it's on the southwest of England, so it's not far from London.
No, it's really accessible.
Yeah, I think it's sort of within or near the M25. So
it may even be accessible by train. I'll look at that.
Yeah,
but I think it's very easy.
I think I need to go there on a Inside Story Travel fact finding mission.
Michael, I think that's possible. I think we can send you on that fact finding mission.
It's a tough job, but
it is.
Someone.
I will say you have to book well in advance because it's super popular.
Yeah.
So you have to go, if you want to take a trip there, you really have to plan ahead, but it's well worth it.
Yeah.
So, second one, Pig Hotels.
Yes.
They just won or achieved B Corp for a hotel that's pretty difficult to get. So they are really, really working at being regenerative, not just sustainable. They have their own gardens. They keep bees. They're very kind of settled in place. So every hotel represents its environment. They don't all look the same.
Exactly. So
they're very sensitive to that.
Moved into place as well. That'll be an old manor house has been a hotel before, but everything's very sympathetic to the setting that they're in.
Yeah.
And again, the ingredients are all sourced locally. If it's not grown there,
no,
it's sourced within a 10 or 20 mile
radius. They have
radius.
Fantastic gardens. I love
everything
their
is
gardens.
seasonal, so you go depending on which time of the year you go there. Obviously, the menu changes according to the seasons. I mean, I went there for my 50th birthday. I know it's. I can hear gasps coming from
that you're that old. I know he doesn't look it.
I look a lot older. But no, I went there and we just had a really, really good meal there. And it was in November, so it was quite seasonal. But it was it's so good.
I love the pig. Yeah. All of them are great.
It comes across as it's very quintessentially British as well. Like, the ambiance.
It's very country.
It's very, very country.
Country chic.
Yeah,
I would say. Another one I haven't been to personally, but it is on my list, is Heckfield Place. It is a high-end hotel, but they are using biodynamic farming methods along Rudolf Steiner principles, which are really... My kids went to a Waldorf school, so we're pretty aware of that, but they are really in nature with the cycles of, in line with the cycles of the moon when you plant. So they're really... in tune with the cycles of the season and the moon and the sun. And it makes sense to me because, the moon and the sun has a huge impact on
that's how
us and the planet. So they're really engaged. And they also have workshops on things like willow weaving and organic farming. Almost everything is sourced on site. So that would be one that I would really want to check out. Another one, I'll be visiting this week, is Glebe House in Devon.
Okay.
The UK's first green Michelin star restaurant, guest house, and 15-acre small holding. So clearly
that's another one that you're going to without me this week.
Yes. I'm on a tour of England and Scotland, and Michael's at home. Sorry, Michael.
Holding the fort.
But I'll update you
To be
when I
fair,
get back.
we had a lovely day yesterday, so we'll
Yes.
come on to that in a
Yeah,
minute.
stop complaining.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just bants.
But really, green Michelin star, I think that's quite an achievement for a small.
Yeah.
A
What do you know?
small.
What does that entail? Because I'm not quite sure, but I guess it's to do with their
Well, I think it's their sourcing
Yeah.
and how they grow.
yeah.
And then the standards, obviously, of what they create. But I will be able to tell you more when I
Yeah,
get
'cause
back.
obviously the Michelin star. I mean, everyone's familiar with that because it's a global
Yeah.
accolade, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, just really into what the green side of it is. That would be.
Yeah, no, I'm assuming it's to do with how
Yeah.
it's grown and
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it's
yeah.
sourced and how the waste that you don't create when you're making the meals. But I will let you know after that. Second one, we had the joy of going to together yesterday.
Yeah,
Or
finally.
third one, Watley Manor and Spa.
Yes.
One of the first to align with the UN's Sustainable Development goals focusing on wildlife conservation and zero waste fine dining.
Yeah.
So, and they've won quite a few other awards.
It's such a lovely place.
Really lovely.
And yeah, we met Lucy there yesterday, and everyone is just so welcoming and lovely.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough because it literally is like 25 minutes from here, and I've been there 3 times now.
Yep.
To eat. I think I've obviously been to the fine dining restaurant twice, and obviously they've got what's it called? Braise.
Yes.
Which is like the sort of the bistro, which is open at lunchtime. Yeah.
First.
Yeah, and had lunch there a couple of years ago. But just the setting. And you think, we had a look around we didn't go around the gardens, did we? But we looked at them from the window.
I mean, to be honest, at this time of year, it was raining.
It was raining.
And at this time of year, there's not a lot to see in the gardens.
No.
Although the daffodils are coming up and the bluebells and things.
There was 2 very happy-looking ducks sat on the pond out the window while we were having afternoon tea. But yeah, we had a look round. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I mean, when I've been there twice in the evening, and it's just this magical setting, this courtyard you walk into, which is just even yesterday that was beautiful.
Oh, it was gorgeous. And it's 16th, 17th century.
And it was lovely. We had afternoon tea,
and they had the roaring fire, and really lovely. I got my gluten-free tea. So again, another really. We may be featuring that one in some retreats going forward.
Absolutely.
So that one again, highly recommended. Another one I'm visiting without Michael this week.
Okay.
Folscombe Farm in Devon, a 500-acre regenerative farm. They have rare breed livestock, local craft workshops, and it's just in a beautiful setting in Devon. I love Devon anyway.
Devon is gorgeous. Yeah.
Rolling hills.
Yeah.
And
like rich red soil that you get in Devon as well. Like, notice that when you go on the farmland.
Yeah, you just slow down
a
little bit
Devon
in Devon.
red cattle is like, so yeah, they've got rare breed.
I'm not sure what their rare breed is. I will know by the end of this week, but they only have rare breed livestock, so they're keeping these maybe endangered breeds going. Yeah. So that one I love. And a final one, again, I haven't visited, but is on my list, is Elmley National Nature Reserve. So this one is the only national reserve where you can stay overnight, a family-run farm dedicated to restoring wild bird habitat and offering off-grid cabins. So you can do like a safari type experience.
Yeah, so similar, I guess, to Net.
Similar to Net, but different landscape.
Yeah.
I think it's more marshy.
Okay.
Kind of landscape. But again,
Boggy.
Yes, boggy, wear your wellies.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of, experiences that you can do to really immerse yourself in nature. So I think that's another really great option. So we talked about volunteering, didn't we?
Yep.
What can we do? I have a couple of things here. Trees for Life.
Yeah.
I mentioned that, based in Finhorn. You can join conservation weeks to help rewild the Caledonian forest.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Or you can just go online and sponsor a tree for them to book you to plant you a tree. National Trust have working holidays. The National
Okay.
Trust is an organisation that looks after old buildings and land. Across the UK, you can go and help restore dry stone walls in the Lake District or manage ancient orchards in Somerset. It's all online. Can go and have a look.
Okay.
And I think that would be a fun way to meet people.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. Yeah.
you know, so those are certain things. If you're in the Cotswolds, I've chosen the Cotswolds because lots of people, come to the Cotswolds.
Well, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Michael lives
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Why leave heaven?
And the Cotswolds is,
Yeah.
I mean, just gorgeous. Something a lot of people don't know is the Cotswolds have canals.
We do. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's a big project near here actually. It's the Stroud. Oh gosh. Stroud Canal project, which is being restored, sort of connecting the River Severn up towards the Thames, actually. Yeah.
Yes,
So
you
this-
can go through to the Thames.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been a project that's been going on for the last couple of decades, I think.
I think we have thousands of miles of canals
Yeah.
in the UK.
Exactly. So
And actually, this is going to be a podcast subject in the future.
mm,
We'll look at where you can go and how you rent a boat.
because you've
and-
been on a canal boat holiday, haven't you?
When I was about
Yeah.
8.
Yeah, same here. I think I was.
Yeah.
I was about 11 or 12. I think.
I loved it.
And I loved it as well.
Yeah.
So it's one of those holidays that I remember. I went on with
Yeah.
my sister and my brother-in-law and my father. And we just, it was actually a really,
One of those boating holidays that aren't stressful.
yeah, because you literally, you are going on at walking pace, aren't you? Like,
Yeah. Putt, putt, putt.
but you're just going through like just glorious.
And there are walking
countryside.
paths.
Yeah.
So you can, alongside the canal, so you can stop at any
And there's
time.
pubs
Pubs.
just at the sides of the canal.
And
And you stop and
Also, people are now setting up little cafes
Yeah.
in these boats or pizza places
that's right.
in
Yeah,
these
yeah.
boats
So yeah,
and stuff.
I'm
So
actually just more up next, and I'm
Yeah.
getting up.
people are living in them now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they always were. There
Yeah.
always was that tradition, but it's become
Yeah, more of a thing.
Yeah, more of a
with house
thing.
prices and everything. So,
Yeah.
houseboats. Yeah.
So the Cotswolds Canal Trust, they
that's the
do. There you go. It's all about heritage and biodiversity, planting trees, sowing wildflowers, and vegetation management along the Stroud and Stonehouse Canal corridor. That's what you wanted to say, wasn't it?
Thanks for helping me out earlier. And I was just floundering around to something or other.
Worcestershire Wildlife Trust. They're doing habitat management, practical tasks in the Stroud Valley, physical work on the slopes in varied weather. Warning: bring your wellies and your raincoat. National Trust, again, other things they're doing: spring maintenance right now. Newark Park and Woodchester Park have drop-in sessions for trail maintenance, and also Cotswold voluntary wardens. Landscape preservation, dry stone walling, path clearance and guided walk support across the national landscape. A lot kind of going on.
I mean, even you can just, if you just to keep it simple, I mean, you could, just walk a very small section, a couple of miles the Cotswold Way or any footpath, and just do a little bit of, just litter picking or what have you. Just,
I mean, you don't have to go on an organised.
You don't have to organise it and brag about it.
No, just pick up
Just go-
litter when you're out and about.
Yeah, when you see it. I mean, we're quite lucky, I guess, in the countryside. There isn't an awful lot of litter that you see, but it tends to get blown.
Yeah,
From
elsewhere.
elsewhere. Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing you could
Yeah.
do. It's just, we try and do that sometimes when you go out on the walk. It's
Yeah,
you just take a black bin liner with you,
yeah.
and you can buy one of the little.
One of my real beefs is people who put dog
Oh.
poo in a bag and then leave it.
I don't. Let's
That really
yeah,
drives me nuts.
Let's not get started on that because
So,
it's just, yeah.
And so,
So
I
you've gone to the effort,
of getting a dog bag,
getting and putting it out and tying it
and
up,
then you leave
and
it
then
on the
chuck it in the
trail.
bush.
I know.
Yeah.
So whenever we see that, we
Yeah.
always pick those up.
Mm.
But that to me is,
Yeah, it's
really not.
anyway.
Anyway,
Don't-
let's not
you
go
get
down
me
that one.
ranting.
Yeah, we don't want
You
it
don't want
ranting.
an
It's not
MJL
good.
rant.
So another area we talked about being very important with regenerative is supporting artisans, local crafts. In Britain, there's such a rich or a depth of art and
Yeah.
craft, and right from just doing it in your own kitchen or lounge to, you know, wonderful artists who are, you know, displaying in towns and
Exactly. I was
cities,
going
in
to say,
community
yeah,
halls.
but yeah, a lot of sort of the well-known villages will have, you know, gift shops or craft shops where you can go and buy,
Mhm.
you know, pieces of work from a local artist. And that doesn't mean, you know, like paintings, what have you. It could be,
They
you know,
don't
some
cost the earth
wood,
necessarily.
yeah,
Yeah,
some craft pieces that you can find, and it's, you know, that
yeah,
again goes, you know, back in supporting those, you know,
yeah.
local
And
craftsmen and
often it
artists.
reflects the local landscape.
Exactly, yeah, and it'll be made from materials from the local landscape.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, go in and talk to the people that you're running the places, quite often the volunteers themselves.
Yeah.
And just sort of, you know, just engage. I mean, we've got like a little sort of little museum in the
Mhm.
town here, which is run by volunteers. But it's always you know, you see those places, just go in and just, you know, don't be scared to ask questions. And then you'll learn a bit more about the heritage of the place and what the history is. And if you get your cup off my table,
Oh, sorry, Michael. It's arts and
it's
craft
my arts and
table. That told me, didn't it? Yeah.
She spilled tea all over it early on.
Yeah, I did.
And all over my hand, but you know.
Yeah. No, he's on edge now. Quite right. Yes. So some examples would be pottery, wood.
Trying to work out whether you're cross with me now for a second.
Oh, I'm not. He's like looking for. No, I'm not cross with you. You'd know if I was cross with
Oh,
you.
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. ask tech guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silence.
So some examples: wood turning, weaving.
Yeah, we saw that when we were looking at things last night, didn't we? There was a place up in the North Cotswolds that was
Yeah.
a hotel that was doing sort of like woodwork, craft workshops, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was wood turning.
Weaving,
yeah.
willow basket
Yeah.
making. There are lots of really, really fun things to do. Quilting. There's, I mean, the Cotswolds itself, the arts and craft movement.
Yeah.
That's what Michael's table is. That's why he doesn't want me to put my teacup on there. Was very much kind of leading the way in that kind of area.
Well, it's a pushback against, yeah, sort of mass manufactured furniture, sort of like locally crafted, quite simple in its design.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
I've got one here, Rapture and Right, based in the village of Evenlode.
Actually,
Evenlode,
I think it is.
Yeah.
That's in Worcestershire, isn't it?
But it's Cotswolds. Is that still
Yeah,
Cotswolds?
still Cotswolds.
Yeah. This studio is a gold standard for sustainable manufacturing. Their last commercial handprint studio in the UK, using on-site water management system with living ponds and solar power.
Okay.
They print only to ensure zero wasted stock. Susie Watson Designs. I've got one of her tea cloths. Known for a timeless English style, this studio focuses on handmade craftsmanship, often using traditional techniques that support a broader ecosystem of makers, from weavers to embroiderers. And Vigour and Skills, located in Burford, which is North Cotswolds, lovely town.
Yeah, it is lovely. Actually.
Yeah, lovely market town. This connects conscious shoppers with independent makers. So there's lots of lovely independent shops there, galleries, really nice place to go and shop and maybe get something to take home. There's a gallery at the Guild situated in Chipping Camden's old silk mill, cooperative of 28 local artists, everything from ceramics to glasswork. So there's a lot to check out. Cotswolds pottery, Highgrove Traditional Crafts, which is King Charles's on his estate, isn't it?
Just up the road from here, yeah.
He's very keen on supporting local artists. Lots of training in heritage skills like stonemasonry, weaving, furniture making. They focus on using wood as sustainable material and offer half-day workshops for visitors.
Okay.
So that's a good place to go if you want to go and immerse yourself in that. So Yeah. Any other thoughts on regenerative, Michael, before we finish up?
I mean, I just say, just have a good wander around. You know, don't
Yes.
feel you've got to go. You go somewhere and just tick that one off the box. Just have a good wander around, and you'll just find these little quirky little places that
Yeah.
are run but like local artists or craftsmen, what have you. I mean, we have a little pop-up gallery. A couple of times here in the town where local artists get to display their work, and obviously you can buy that. And quite often at like Tetbury Town Hall, which is like an old market town hall, one on stilts like we've got here in Dursley. You'll get a little craft fair there, couple of times a month, what have you. So it's just as I said, rather than rushing around the country trying to like tick all these things off your list, just try and stay and have a good
pootle.
A good pootle.
I'm
mooch.
all a mooch.
Mooch around.
I'm
yeah.
all for a pootle.
Yeah.
And just, where do we fancy going today?
You like a pootle? I like a mooch.
I love a good old pootle mooch. A moochy pootle.
Well, yeah.
There we go.
Perhaps.
Yeah. So on that note, really regenerative travel is just a new way of seeing.
It's exactly. And it's just about, like I said, just trying to sort of like spend more time in the place that you're visiting, and spending your money, that is, goes back into the economy and not just into the corporate pocket. And it will enrich your travel experience
so much. Even just going into the local greengrocers instead of the big supermarket.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have a good old chat with the person that owns
local
it.
butchers and all that kind of stuff.
People love to chat here. A little bit of banter, or bants, as Michael calls it.
Bit of bants, yeah. Start with the weather, or good icebreaker.
We're not. I suppose just to conclude, we're not just visitors. We're part of the story.
Yeah.
And if we choose to travel this way, it's an intention. It's a state of mind. We're not just seeing a place. We're part of the ecosystem. I think that's a nice way to look at it. That really is it. It's pretty easy.
It is.
Pretty easy to do. Thank you for joining me
You're
today.
welcome.
Have we got another guest here
We've got
today?
2 guests here today.
Yeah.
Dogs. Come on then.
The dogs just want to say goodbye.
No, this
Douglas.
way. Where are you going?
Douglas, we're here.
George,
there we go. There's George.
Come on, Douglas.
Douglas, come. Come say hi.
Come on.
Come on, Douglas.
There we go.
This is Douglas.
Douglas the Border Terrier.
Travelling regeneratively also means loving the dogs.
Yes, exactly.
British people love their dogs.
Yeah.
And Douglas is a big part of the family, aren't you, Douglas?
The amount of fuss these two have had in the last sort of 3 days, and Tech Guy in particular.
Yes.
I mean, literally, Douglas and Tech Guy need to get a room. It's got quite uncomfortable.
Douglas, don't listen to him. Yeah.
George is a little bit. George is very
shy,
British,
reserved.
Yeah. George, come.
Yeah. So, Douglas, should we say goodbye to everybody? Thank you for joining us. Next time, we will be covering canal holidays and travel.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. See you next time.
If today's conversation has been good company, please follow the Transatlantic Teacast wherever you listen. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Leave us a rating and share the episode with one person you think would love it. This is genuinely how we grow. Thank you.